Hello everyone, welcome back to X-Plane 11. My name is Micah. We're up here flying at 35,000 feet in the 737-800 Zibo mod. We have already covered in the previous video how to set up your FMC, use it with Autopilot, on departing your airport, going all the way up to the top of your climb, getting into your cruise. Now we're going to be coming out of our cruise through the top of descent, all the way into the approach into LAX and landing, all using the FMC and the Autopilot. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, you want to make sure your altitude is already set to 0, which you can see here. Mine's already set to 0. And make sure everything is still the same. The throttle is armed, flight director is on, VNAV is on, LNAV is on, and the command for AP is engaged. With that being said, we're already set now for the descent into the LAX area. I do appreciate you guys watching the previous video. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it and that you're back here for more. If this is the first video of mine you're watching, well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to view this video. And if you expected to learn something about the FMC today, you will. Okay. If you wanted all the route planning and how to plan a approach into an airport, go ahead and go into the previous video here when we actually set up our entire route. Now you'll notice my aircraft automatically has cut its throttle. That's to go ahead and decelerate. What it does is it automatically decelerates the aircraft first prior to losing any altitude. If you went ahead and started going downwards with just your, pushing the plane nose down, you're actually going to increase that speed. And when you increase that speed so much that you're actually could damage your aircraft. And so it automatically knows this and goes ahead and reduces speed to the descent speed of Mach 0.67. At some point I may need to use the spoilers to assist it in slowing down, and that's normal. So and oftentimes your FMC will actually tell you if it needs, it'll give you a message like, hey, it needs drag. See, drag required. Told you guys. So we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit of assistance here and extend our spoilers 1 notch. And that's just to help it on its way down. We go ahead and take a look at our FMC here. You'll see that we have 148 miles still to go, 147 now, till LAX. You're like, wow, that's a long way till you get there. Why ain't this city so early? Well, you know, when you're 35,000 feet up in the air and you need to get down, but you also don't need to go too fast, sometimes you're going to release that spoilers, my altitude, my speed, reach where it needed to be. Sometimes you got to descend that far out, and it's automatically calculated by your computer for you. Go to the legs here, you'll see it's automatically heading towards Iron Man star, which we talked about in the previous video. We'll go back up to our main view here. As we continue our descent. Anyway, I will see you guys when we're about to cross through our 10,000 feet threshold, or when we turn onto our, I'll just say this. I'll see you guys when we get closer into the LAX area, when we actually can kind of see the ground and everything like that. Alrighty, folks, we're back here. We're now just crossing through 14,000 feet. You notice our speed has been slowed down to 250 knots. And you'll notice we also just saw diamonds appear right there and right there. That's good. That means our signals are connecting to the approach GPS signal. Anyway, with that being said, we cross through 10,000 feet. We'll go and turn on our landing lights per FAA regulations, and turn on our basically all our lights as we get into the approach here. And you'll notice if you look at the, I can't remember, what is this thing called? Gosh, I cannot remember. Look at this, and you'll notice that it's like a weird, like, zigzag approach in. And that's just the way the approach is designed, because you're coming in pretty high, so they want you to come in nice, low and slow. It's just the way it's designed to bring you in. And that's real life, so even though it looks funny, you're like, that doesn't really make sense. You know, it is, all right. I believe that is the airport right there. So we're gonna make a left and zig back to the right, and then we'll hit a star down here and go right into the approach on runway 07 left, which is actually going to be the center right runway when we're looking at it, because there's 4 runways. And this is all operating off that FMC plan that we created. All being done automatically. Alright, we're going through 10,000 feet. So we're going to go overhead. We're going to turn our dome light real fast to dim so we can see. Turn on our landing lights. Turning on that. Taxi remain off. We'll go and turn off our... Yep. Alright, I think that's about good, so we'll go back up. Turn our dome back off. Go back to our front. All still being controlled by the aircraft. It's weird how it's like generating that scenery in like blocks. It's like all of a sudden LAX is coming back to life. It's like they had a power outage and they're just now getting their power back. Notice our now power setting is saying 218, and that's being told that when we get to our next point, our speed needs to be at 218 miles per hour. That being said, I'm going to drop flaps to 1. Allow us to fly slow. Put some spoilers on, slow us down a little more. We're not really going to touch the FMC on the whole descent. You're not really going to touch it. It's all going to be touching the autopilot, because when you do your route configuration at the beginning, that's pretty much the last time you're going to have to touch it. We're going to set our landing gear to off. Auto brakes, we're going to leave for now. About to hit our turn point, we're going to turn back out into the sea. And we might just see the airport. There's the airport right there, LAX, and that's the runway we're going to be landing on, just the other direction. I always like flying an X-Plane 11. It's always been a fun thing for me to do. And it's taken me a while to learn a lot of the aspects of the aircraft, and I probably don't even know a quarter of them, to be honest. I know the basics, I guess you could say. I'm gonna go a notch, or lower my flaps a notch to 2 degrees. Once I make that turn onto our long final, I want to be at about 10 degrees flaps. Once we hit our short final, I want to be 30 degrees flaps. So really all you're having to worry about here is your flap and gear when they need to come down. Except for one thing, which we'll get to in a second, that you need to do. I wonder what that is. I wonder if that's an aircraft carrier. It might be. I think that's what it is. Must be an aircraft carrier. That's cool. You may have noticed this diamond turns solid. That's important. And we'll get to why it's important in a moment. Once we turn onto our final, I'll talk about why those diamonds are important, why you want them to be solid, and then what you do once they are. Let me go and drop flaps now to 5. Actually, no, I got flap. Yep, right. Flaps now to 5. You'll notice it automatically slows the plane down. It's wonderful, guys. Does it automatically based off your weight. Now, important thing I want you to see. An important thing I want you to see is, yeah, drag request denied now. We're going to go back to the reference. Why do we want the reference? Well, now you see it's changed to approach. Wow, my frames just dropped to 1. What the crap? You guys see that? I don't know why it's dropping frames like that. Anyway, you change it to reference, and you can see the what do you call it? Your approach speeds. So for 30 flaps, it wants us at 154 knots. It's really close to our V2 speed, isn't it? That's important. Go back to 0. Yep. No, notice both diamonds have turned solid. Now, once we turn around, I'll show you what to do with the 2 diamonds. That's really strange I had that frame drop. I'm not sure why it did that. That's really weird, guys. Really strange. We're about to turn around now. Alright. It's turning us around, and it's also descending us. We're going to give it a little bit of spoilers to keep it from overspeeding. It's important to use the spoilers, especially when you have your flaps out. You don't want to break your flaps off. That would be very bad. So you're just kind of helping it. Go ahead and drop to 10 flaps. Flight attendants, please prepare for landing. Alright, there's the airfield. You're like, wait a second, we're off course right now. Yeah, I know. It'll correct itself. It'll get us on there. Just have to make an entire 180. It's can't be difficult. We're going to go auto brakes now. We're going to hit those all the way up to max. We're going to go ahead and initiate. We're going to arm our spoilers. Okay, now we're going to tackle what you do here. So we're going to go ahead and hit the APP button that's below the VOR lock. What that's going to do is that's going to lock in our approach using the GPS navigational. We're going to do that though once this diamond changes back to a solid color. Once it does, we'll go ahead and do that. In the meantime, we're going to go and drop flaps one more notch. Drop them to 15 now. That is the aircraft carrier. Alright, that looks better. That looks better. Alright, even though it's not solid, you can hit the approach button already, so we'll go ahead and do that. And now we're running off the approach vector via the signal we're getting from the airport. So it'll bring us right onto the 27 left. We just got the lock on the VNav, you saw that change right there. We're going to go ahead and extend flaps 30, drop gear, get into our landing configuration. Now you notice our VNav hasn't disengaged yet. You're like, why isn't it disengaged? Well, that's because it's still going to run off VNav until that diamond right there that I talked about hits the glide slope. Once we hit the glide slope, it'll automatically change the speed, allow us to control the speed, and go off of VNav. So it's going to hold us probably about this altitude, maybe a little lower. It's going to hold us until we hit that glide slope. All being done automatically, guys. But we're in our landing configuration, so let's pop outside. You can't really see much, can you? No, you cannot. You cannot. Grab me a screenshot. That's why I'm hitting. Is it taking a screenshot? Thought maybe, I don't know. Alright, go back inside. And I see that diamond has turned solid. We're inside the angle now. We still haven't hit the glide slope yet, though. Alright, we've hit the glide slope. Now I noticed the speed changed. Now it's being controlled by the autopilot here, not the FMC anymore. We're actually gonna spoilers just a little bit, keep it slow here. Once we hit about 1,000 feet, I'm gonna take over manual control and bring us in here the final leg. Keep those spoilers armed. To do that, I'm just gonna hit the disengage button here and hit the auto throttle off. Thousand feet. All right. Now we're manually flying this thing. Try to bring it in nice and smooth. And maintain that glide slope. Off, so we're going to try to correct that.
400, 300, 200, 200.
We're going to cut throttle.
40, 30,
Flare that sucker.
10.
Come on. Alright, we touch the ground. Gently let down. Hit reversers. We're off-centered, but hey, guys. We're on the ground safely, and that's what matters. Not the best landing I've done, though. That is for sure. Not the best landing. Go ahead and center ourselves up. And we'll release the auto brakes there. Tracked our spoilers, put the flaps up. And we'll go ahead and taxi off the runway. Change this to off, turn on our taxi lights. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much the way you bring it in. Yeah, but it wasn't my best landing. I know that, guys. I know. I was a little off there from the center. But as I told you guys, I am not an expert. I'm not a real pilot. And I am still learning, just like you. I'm going to go ahead and apply some brakes here. I'm going to turn off our landing lights, so we're just using our taxi lights now. We're gonna taxi in here. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Don't these guys see my giant aircraft? Apparently not. Apparently not. Alright, now we're gonna take this past this Air Berlin flight. Alrighty, guys. Well, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed and you learned something through these 2 tutorial videos. If you want to see something else, you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.